Guys, so I have my cousin Savannah here, and we're just going to do a quick interview. Savannah agreed to do an interview to help grow my YouTube channel.
Yes.
Sav, can you start by telling me like some of the things you're passionate about?
Yeah, I'm definitely passionate about social change, school, family, love, and everything goodness in the world.
Wonderful. Okay, so I have pretty much 3 questions I'd like to ask, and then there may be more questions, but I really only have 3 that I want to start by opening this conversation. So the first question I have is, what do you think of animals, and are you an animal lover?
So yes, I am an animal lover. I've had multiple pets throughout my entire life. I have my dog named Cece, love her to death. Yes, I would consider myself animal passionate.
That's awesome. And next question I have is, what are your thoughts and what do you think about people that abuse animals?
Abusing animals is simply not right. Natural causes, for sure, that's how God planned it, or whatever higher power you believe in. It doesn't have to be God, but our world works and was supposed to work in a natural way, something that has been changed and destroyed by mankind over multiple years. So again, simply, it's just not right.
Would you consider kicking a dog animal abuse?
Yes.
Okay, what about a cow giving birth and taking away its baby?
It depends. If it was for medical reasons and medical right reasons, in order to help that baby, then yes. But if it's just to take away the baby in order for reproduction, anything negative, I mean, that's wrong.
What about for cash profit and human greed?
Oh, human greed is completely twisted and sick. Therefore, animal abuse in that way is twisted and sick.
So now we're getting into like a little bit of a deeper question, and there's absolutely no judgment because a lot of people just don't think about these things until they're provoked by somebody to think about them.
Right.
So one of my last questions is, before we kind of just have some open dialogue, is do you contribute to any industries that abuse animals, such as meat, milk, dairy, or eggs?
You know what, I do. But it's not because I support animal abuse. It's because of the morals I was raised upon. I mean, I've grew up eating meat all my life, and for me not to be vegetarian, it'd take a lot of change. Not only that, I've always been an athlete, and I've always been told, I guess this could be considered a toxic mentality as well. Athletes are supposed to eat a certain amount of meat, protein, all that jazz. And I know Jackie here. Jackie is also an athlete, vegetarian, of course.
Vegan,
yes. Even better. So I don't know, I guess it could go both ways, but I've never been educated on the fact that all these animal abuses kind of relate to all milk, dairy, all that jazz.
Okay, so just to tap onto what you said, and then we're going to kind of shift the conversation a little bit. So do you I know it's pretty normal, especially in the athletic side of things. We are constantly told you need meat for protein. But do you think that we can get protein from other sources and be healthy on a diet that doesn't require animal excretions or their flesh?
I do believe there is some possibilities, but they'd have to be more prevalent. Like I said, I'm not very educated on the fact of animal abuse or not using animals for this reason. So we are in the 21st century, and if there isn't a way to not use animal abuse as our number one source, then we are failing as a society.
Consumers should be aware of how their food is processed?
100%. And if consumers aren't aware of how it's processed, then why are you eating it? And that goes for me as well. I mean,
absolutely.
Like I said, I'm not very educated on animal abuse and animal abuse stemming from the food I eat and the dairy that I drink and all that jazz. So honestly, I should be more educated on why I'm eating this stuff and what other sources I can get it from.
Absolutely, and I'd be happy to provide you those resources.
Yeah.
Real quick, is it okay if I show you a brief video of standard practice of some of the things that go on?
Sure, I'm always open to learn.
Okay, awesome. I'm just going to go ahead and stop this real quick.
That's a cool little mic.
Thank you. And then, so we just watched a 3-minute video of standard practice of what happens to pigs for bacon and other pig products. How did seeing that make you feel?
It definitely makes me rethink that there has to be other ways we can get our protein. And honestly, like, better ways we should treat these animals. Natural causes, again, that's fine, but
Absolutely.
this is terrible. If you are okay with doing this to a pig, you're okay with doing this to a human. Therefore, doesn't that make you kind of a murderer?
Yeah, right? It's pretty hypocritical if you don't,
Yeah.
if you can't stay consistent with your values. And why do you think these industries don't show us between farm to table? Why do you think they just show us just farm and then the end product at the grocery store?
Greed runs the United States. Greed runs the world, honestly. It's not just the US. Greed
Yeah.
runs the world right now, and that's the number one reason. They don't want us seeing the behind the scenes of this. They don't want us seeing the electrocution of these pigs and these animals and the things we consider pets, and they don't want us to see the behind the scenes because they're afraid that they will lose customers. Losing customers, losing money.
Mm-hmm. Do you think if more people saw the truth about how their food is made, that more people would give more thought to making better, more compassionate choices and choose like the plant-based burger over the regular burger?
100%. And honestly, watching this, like I said, it'd definitely be hard for me to make the complete change, but even small steps, consuming less meat, and again, considering where your meat comes from.
So, are you talking about like humane farms that is sometimes, marketed to us, that you think that would probably be a better choice?
Yes, I do agree. But I also think if you're going to market a product, you better be honest. Or else that makes you a liar. And honestly, that's false. So your falsities within your company can get you in really big trouble. So.
Do you think that, what do you think is the most humane way? Because according to, the RSPCA and all the animal agriculture industries, they believe gas chambering is the most ethical way to stun pigs. What is your idea? Like, what would that look like to you? What would it be, other than, an animal dying of natural causes? What would be an ethical way to kill an animal that doesn't want to die?
What would be an ethical way to kill a human?
Yeah, what would that look like?
There is no ethical way. I mean, like I said, if you're okay with doing that to a pig is a mammal. Humans are mammals. What difference does it make that it's not a human?
What about chickens and fish? Do you think chickens and fish want to live their life freely without humans harming them or oppressing them or being looked at as like a dollar sign or being bred into these systems that they didn't sign up for?
Well, of course. I mean, these animals don't ask for this, not at all, by no means. But again, I'm not really educated in the chicken and fish industry. I mostly know about the animal abuse, so that's probably about what I could say about that topic.
So let me just give you just a kind of a little tiny idea of what those industries look like. So first of all, eggs. Most people think, being vegetarian is enough. But eggs is a very cruel industry. So
Really?
with the egg industry, chickens naturally lay about 12 eggs per year. Those are their monthly periods. And in these industries, they basically manipulate their cycles and keep the lights on all day and night and, genetically modify them so that they produce about an egg per day. So they're having about 300 eggs per year compared to 12. And it is very painful. Like, it's the equivalent of a female menstrual cycle every day. It depletes their body. It's actually really good for chickens to eat their own eggs, which is why when they, backyard farms say, oh, well, I'm just getting it from the backyard. But the chicken would rather eat their own egg for their own nutrients. But so that's one part. And then the other part that's really cruel is male chicks in the egg industry serve as no cash profit because they can't produce eggs. So on their very first day of life, the male and the female hens are sent down a conveyor belt, and the male chicks get tossed into, it's called a maciator, but it's a fancy name for a blender, on their first day of life, shell and all. And so their very first, other than them being in the egg waiting to hatch, and they can hear their brothers and sisters in the eggs, they can hear their mom clucking, they can hear everything. The first time they get out of that shell, they're being thrown into a grinder because they serve no cash profit purpose in the egg industry. So that's just eggs. As far as chickens go, like if you're a female chicken and you actually make it, you're not a male, you don't get put into a grinder. You are produced, your menstrual cycle is modified so that you're having all these eggs, your body gets depleted. These chickens have it's about the size of an A4 square sheet of paper for movement. They can't open their wings, they can't dust bathe, they can't forage, they can't do a lot of their own natural things. They're literally living on top of shit and on top of other decomposing chicken bodies, because those chickens, obviously there's like hundreds of thousands in a shed.
Yeah.
And that farmer's not going in picking out each and every dead chicken, because they're like stories. It's like 3-story buildings with hundreds of thousands of chickens in there, and they're crammed in these cages, and then their eggs fall down, and they're laying on top of those decomposing bodies, giving them ammonia burns and stuff like that. And then when their bodies finally used up, then they also get slaughtered for cheap meat, and they have like no feathers, they don't look healthy at all. So that's chicken. And then fish, I mean, do you think if you were to stab like a koi fish, it would feel pain?
Yeah, everything feels pain.
Exactly. So, do you think that is there a reason what makes like a koi fish more respectable than like a tuna? Like, why is it okay for us to kill a tuna but not a koi fish?
I couldn't even tell you the answer.
Do you see how, like, so there's this term that's called speciesism, and it's very similar to the term of like racism, all the isms. So this term is basically when people look down on other species, or they think that their species is more morally superior.
Right.
And so it's something that is very prevalent, unfortunately, in the world. Unfortunately, we have been conditioned to love dogs and cats and koi fish and parrots, but it's certainly okay to physically, sexually, and psychologically abuse cows, pigs, chicken, and fish. So one of my last things I want to ask is what do you think is the percentage of factory farms in the United States for food production?
I'd probably say about 90%.
It's actually 99%, which is 90%
high. I know it was up there.
Yep. And then I have one other thing that I like to tell people just to give them some extra thought. How long do you think it would take for 1 million seconds to pass?
1 million a day?
Okay.
No, probably a couple days.
Okay. What about 1 billion?
A few more days.
Okay. And what about 1 trillion seconds? How long do you think it takes for 1 trillion seconds to pass?
6 days at most.
Okay. So the answer for 1 million seconds to pass is 1 week and 5 days.
Gotcha.
For 1 billion seconds to pass, 32 years. For 1 trillion seconds to pass is 31,677 years. And that's how many animals including marine animals, and that it is that we slaughter every year for their final resting place to be our stomach, and then the toilet for a 5-minute meal that is soon forgotten.
Yeah.
So, has this conversation given you any food for thought to reconsider, like, your choices in the future? Like, do you think that, I know it is hard for, at first to, think long term, just because it seems really scary. We're all used to eating certain ways and certain things, but can you see yourself in the future aligning your your morals with your actions and discontinuing your funding towards these industries that see animals as a cash profit sign?
100% in the future. Like I said, I definitely want to become more educated on the process, but this has definitely inspired me to be more considerate of the way I look at things and be more considerate of the animals that I'm supposedly calling, like, these people, these things that I love, you know? And if I love them so much, what am I doing to support these animals? So
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for your time, and I have lots of resources I can do to help assist you on making more compassionate choices in the future, and where you will thrive on a more compassionate plant-based diet.